Top left of Icarus, we have our Protoss player. It's a Casper player in yellow. It is
STX Soul Trap.
playing a great game on map number 1. Also map number 2, but on the second map his opponent takes the win. Starting to the bottom right, purple, we have the Terran player. Teamless.
Alive.
And kicking.
Indeed. Might have been able to jump back to TSL if that team were still around. Live with a rough team history, if you consider what he's been through. But, you know, things looking good for him so far. He's gone into Game 3. What are these players going to do on this crazy map where everybody just tries to kill each other?
I just hope that we will see such an exciting game as we saw on map number 2 on Whirlwind. I really love this game. So much back and forth action. Players being in dominant position and then an ingenious move by the opponent putting them back again. This drop that we saw with the High Templars at the same time alive with this nice flanking that he had in the end. I really love this. This was pretty cool.
Yeah, that type of game comes out a lot on these bigger maps. And, you know, we saw a lot of games like this in StarCraft Brood War, and I think that part of that was due to the way the units path, but a lot of that was due to the player's skill. And in StarCraft 2 right now, in Wings of Liberty, a lot of players are getting better and better. Like Trap is getting better, Alive is getting better. All these players are just, their skill level has increased so much that you have players able to make these really intelligent decisions when they're behind to catch up and take good engagements.
There's just a lot now how you can distinguish yourself from the crowd, and this is only going to be increased when Heart of the Swarm then is finally out.
Yeah.
The GSL season, we talked about it, it's starting on a Saturday with a pre-season tournament where we will have Heart of the Swarm. The beta will be played then with 8 teams participating, so definitely make sure to tune in for those matches. That's the first time that you have Heart of the Swarm being played in an offline environment on this scale. But now we're still playing Wings of Liberty, and we have Icarus, the map where you have at the backdoor expansion those 2 gold mineral patches, and this is what Alive is trying to utilize.
Yes, and he certainly will. The question becomes, what is Trap going to do? He hasn't taken his base yet. Alive is going back in there. And let me check. I'm pretty sure that he skipped the Zealot. Yeah, he did. So I thought Alive might try to eBay block. He could still do it. He sends the SCV down again. Nah, he doesn't eBay block. He could have, though. That would have been so annoying for Trap to deal with. He sends a probe around the left side of the map, likely to hide something. The question becomes, what is he going to hide? There's nothing really for him to scout with this probe.
Big problems on this map is that you have very big ramps. There's not a single file ramp here. Even at the expansion, at your backdoor expansion, you have 2 sets of rocks that you can destroy. So attacks with proxy robotics facility are really common on this map. Gateway pressure is really common here. You have this broad ramp that you can walk up and then do a lot of damage. You get the surface area. So this is why Wolf was referring to it as the all-in map, because we see a lot of 2 base and 1 base timings.
Looks like if we're going to see a timer like this from Trap, it's going to be with Immortals, but we can't even necessarily know that yet, because he could take an expansion, but he has a really fast robotics, and with the second gateway going down after that, it doesn't look like we're going to see anything else but an Immortal push with 3 gateways. He'll add the 3rd gateway a little bit later. Alive, if he can scout this, will be able to have ample time to repair because this map is so large, and this is not a proxy robotics.
And you know,
he even makes an Observer.
Yeah, also the thing is, I mean, I like the Observer because you have the high-grown vision that helps you a lot, especially depending on how your opponent sets up his defense. But right now we don't even have anything else started. The Observer is done and he goes for an expand. He's not going for a 1 base attack.
This is so weird, you know? This puts him so behind.
The thing is, I can completely understand if Alive is expecting an all-in here. We talked about it, and Alive would scout. Yeah, and if you lose on this map against an all-in, I think it's just your own fault. This is a map that is known to be an all-in-ish map, and if you see that, or know that, you have to scout accordingly and to prepare accordingly. And Alive has the ability to drop a scan. Of course, you don't want to do this early on, but sometimes you just have to. And with Alive, knowing now that he doesn't know that there's an expansion just yet, but still, this is something, as soon as he has those information, he will be completely fine here.
What's really... what I was expecting to see after that Nexus was dropped, after the Observers were coming out, was a robotic support bay, not Immortals. He's adding now a 2nd Immortal even. This is something that stylistically Trap has shown in his play. He showed it last game even. He just loves to add Immortals. That Immortal is in a weird, vulnerable spot.
Yeah. I feel that, well, the rest of the units in the main base can certainly help him out, but
and now he's fine. I think it was just a rally, maybe.
2 additional gateways though, Wolf. And he's not building probes.
Cancel the Nexus, but I don't think that's what he's going to do. He just wants to mine some extra from those gold patches, and
okay, here we go.
I don't know about this attack.
He started his probe production again. The Nexus is done, so we have 2 base against 2 base. Harvester count is 30 against 35 in favor of Alive and the additional mules.
He has to do damage with this attack. Meanwhile, he's trying to defend back home. Good force fields here, but they're only going to buy a little bit of time.
And they're not going to
He's going to supply block him as well.
And those Marines are going to get in. And they are. The sentry is doomed. And now he can warp in units, and he needs to warp them in fast. Suddenly with Marines in the mineral line, and they are taking down units already. If he can... okay.
He's a micro here.
He can't get the 2 pylons.
Stim is about to finish. He can actually kill those stalkers with Stim if he controls it well.
And Alive is already preparing to lift off his natural and just fly into the main base.
Yes. And good targeting here. Well, now should probably go for the probes. Yeah,
I didn't see it. He is occupied.
Regardless, he's still ahead as long as he holds this immortal pressure down the bottom. Combat shields are even halfway done. He's got so many Marauders and triple bunkers. He's lifted.
The Harvester count is 42 against 28, so his economy is much better. He just needs to hold here.
He's got medevacs coming out as well, so that's going to really help him fight against this type of army that we're seeing from Trap right now.
These pylons are of course important, but if Alive has medevacs, he can drop behind his opponent's army line and then take down. Nice!
He picks off a pylon here.
He doesn't even need the medevacs for that. And here come those SCVs off the mineral line trying to defend the rest of the Marauders are running in. Here come those medevacs that we talked about.
Another bunker is ready, and this is just totally crushed. Alive has he's no worries here. He's like, this is too easy. Crushes this army. GG. Trap, I feel like, did not study this map as well as I think he should have. The build he chose was like too safe.
Alive looks at it and he's like, what's up, son? Great play by Alive. Really well played.
I mean, he just played it straight up.
For Trap, the build looked a little bit weird. He really committed to this attack, but he had it on 2 bases. Yeah.
The way he played that map was how you would play a map like Akalon Flats, where you're like, well, what's he doing? Let me see with my observer. I'm going to go out. But on this map, if you let your opponent have an expansion up that long with the gold minerals and the gas, you find yourself really behind. And then because of the distance on the map, the tech that you have, for example, Immortals, takes so long to get across. He's already got medevacs and stim and combat shields by the time you're attacking. Did not work out.
2-1. Alive takes it with the 2-1. The best of 3 series goes the full distance, and Trap is now back in Code B, whereas Alive advances to the
Alive
second
is
round.
back, man. He gets back into Code A. Now he's got a shot at the up and downs.
Trap is not an easy opponent. Trap is not like a pushover opponent that he just, I don't know. You don't have those usually in the GSL anyways, but still, Trap is someone who has experience and who you have to take very, very serious, which we saw in game number 1.
I'm just glad Alive is back and doing well. He's a teamless player, and
I'm also happy for him because, exactly, he's teamless now.
Yeah, and Trap is going to be around in Pro League. He'll probably requalify next season anyways.
But anyways, guys, we are jumping into game number 2 as soon as we are done with a short break. After about 5 minutes, we'll be back with our second game.
Yeah, Fantasy versus Zenio, man.
Yeah,
the big match coming up here.
One of my favorite matches for the day, and Fantasy versus Zenio should be a really, really good one. So stay tuned, and we'll see you in a few minutes.